When we got back from our honeymoon, my in-laws had redecorated our entire living room. New curtains, new couch, and a portrait of themselves above the fireplace. My husband said they just wanted to surprise us. I said they're about to be surprised too when they come back and find it all in the garage. My husband and I just returned from our honeymoon, and what awaited us at home was nothing short of a nightmare. We had just spent 2 glorious weeks in Maui, basking in the sun and enjoying our first days as a married couple. It was the perfect escape after the whirlwind of wedding planning. We were eager to return to our cozy home in Portland, Oregon, and start our new life together. As we pulled into our driveway, I noticed something odd. The curtains in our living room were different. Gone were the soft, cream-colored drapes I had painstakingly chosen. In their place hung heavy, maroon monstrosities that looked like they belonged in a medieval castle. I turned to my husband, who seemed unfazed. "Did you notice the curtains?" I asked. "Oh, yeah," he replied casually. "My parents mentioned they wanted to surprise us with some redecorating." My heart sank. I rushed inside to find our living room completely transformed. The sleek, modern couch we had saved up for was replaced with a bulky, floral-patterned sofa. Our minimalist coffee table was gone, replaced by an ornate, glass-topped table with gold trim. But the piece de resistance was a massive portrait of my in-laws hanging above the fireplace. I was livid. "Alex, this is our home. They had no right to do this without our permission." He looked uncomfortable. "They just wanted to help. They thought it would be a nice surprise." "A surprise? This is a takeover." I stormed out to the garage, grabbed some boxes, and started packing up the new items. Alex watched in silence as I carefully removed the portrait and placed it in a box labeled "Return to Senders." The next day, I called Alex's parents. "Hi, this is Jenna. I wanted to thank you for the surprise in our living room. However, we've decided to revert to our original decor. Your items are in the garage, ready for pickup." There was a pause on the other end. "Well, we were only trying to help," his mother said, clearly offended. "I understand, but it's important for us to make our own decisions about our home." They picked up their items later that week, and we never spoke of it again. Alex and I had a long conversation about boundaries and the importance of making decisions together. He admitted that he should have consulted me before allowing his parents to make changes to our home. We agreed to set clear boundaries with both of our families moving forward. A few weeks later, Alex's parents invited us over for dinner. They apologized for overstepping and promised to respect our space in the future. It was a step in the right direction, and we've been working on building a healthier relationship since. So, I thought that was the end of it. I really did. After I called Alex's parents and told them their stuff was in the garage, they picked it up. No drama, no big fight. Just a silent, weird pickup where no one said much. I assumed they got the message. Turns out, I was wrong. About 2 weeks after the whole living room invasion, things started feeling off. It started small. We'd get home and find baked goods on our doorstep. Homemade cookies, banana bread, little cards that said things like "Hope you're enjoying the peace and quiet," or "Just thought I'd bring a little sweetness to your new life." At first, I ignored it. I didn't want to jump to conclusions. But then it escalated. One afternoon, I opened our mailbox and found a flyer for a furniture store, one of those super outdated places with floral everything and fake gold trim. On it, in big red marker, someone had written, "Now this is what a real home looks like." It didn't take a genius to figure out who sent it. During all this, Alex was acting strange. He wasn't sleeping well. He got defensive when I brought up the mail or the cookies. Once, I asked if he had spoken to his mom lately, and he snapped, "Why do you always assume it's them?" He never used to talk to me like that. One night, I found him sitting in the living room, staring at the blank spot above the fireplace, the place where the portrait used to hang. "Do you miss it?" I asked. He didn't answer at first. Then he said they just wanted to feel included. I didn't say anything back, but something inside me cracked a little. Then came the real twist. I had to run to the grocery store one evening. I left my wallet at home, so I turned around and went back. As I pulled into the driveway, I saw a car parked a little ways down the street. It was Alex's dad's car. I walked inside quietly. The house was silent, no TV, no music. I heard soft voices from the kitchen. I moved closer and froze behind the hallway wall. It was Alex. And his mom. "Just give us a little more time," she was saying. "She'll come around. You know how girls can be." I heard Alex sigh. "She's not wrong, Mom. It was too much. She'll forgive you. She always does. But this is our family home too now, don't forget that. Let me be very clear. Alex and I bought this house. With our money. No help from either side of the family. It was our place. So why was his mom calling it our home like she had a stake in it?" When I stepped into the kitchen, both of them went dead silent. His mom smiled like nothing was wrong. "Oh, Jenna, we were just having a quick chat." I didn't say anything. I just turned around and walked back out. Alex followed me outside, looking like he had just been caught cheating. "It's not what it looked like," he said quickly. I turned and looked him dead in the eye. "So, what was it then? Please explain to me what part of that wasn't exactly what it sounded like." He stuttered. Couldn't answer. That was the moment I realized something deeper was going on. That night, while Alex was asleep, I started looking through the drawer where we keep our spare keys. One was missing. The emergency key we kept in the back of the drawer, the one for when we locked ourselves out. Gone. I don't even know when they took it, but clearly they had been letting themselves in. That explained the cookies, the cards, even the flyer. I didn't sleep that night. The next morning, I told Alex what I found. He looked pale, but then he said something I didn't expect. I gave it to them, just in case. My mouth went dry. "You what?" "I thought it'd be good. You know, if something ever happened and we needed help." "Something like what, Alex?" "A houseplant emergency? A need for surprise redecorating." He didn't answer. I took the day off work and had the locks changed. I also installed a camera above the door. When I told Alex, he said I was being dramatic. I said I was being careful. He didn't talk to me for the rest of the day. Later that night, his phone lit up with a text. I saw the name, Mom. It said, "We saw the camera." That's very hurtful. They saw it, which meant they'd been by the house again. Without saying a word. That was when I realized we were at war. A cold, polite, absolutely insane family war. And I wasn't about to lose. After I changed the locks and installed the camera, things took an even stranger turn. One night, as I was reviewing the footage, I saw something I never expected. The camera recorded not just a quiet visit, it showed a shadowy figure opening our door with a spare key. At first, I assumed it was one of Alex's parents, but the face in the dark was unfamiliar. I rewound the tape, trying to catch a clear glimpse, and all I got was a flash of a hand wearing a unique ring. The ring looked expensive, with a family crest etched on it. When I confronted Alex the next morning, he fumbled for words. I don't know who that is," he mumbled. But I saw that look in his eyes. The mix of fear and guilt told a different story. Later that day, while Alex was in the shower, I decided to search his office. I found a hidden drawer under his desk. Inside were photos of me, the house, and our finances, documents I had never seen before. Among the papers was an envelope marked Plan B with notes that mentioned keeping the house safe and protecting family legacy. I felt my stomach churn. It wasn't just his parents acting on their own. Something bigger was happening. That evening, I sat Alex down. "Who is the man in the footage? And what is this envelope?" I demanded. He hesitated, then sighed. "There's something you need to know, Jenna. My family. They aren't just about redecorating. They have been watching us for a while." And I allowed it, hoping to keep the peace, to protect the legacy. "Legacy?" I repeated, feeling a mix of anger and confusion. Alex's eyes darted away as he mumbled, I thought I was doing the right thing. Right or not, I felt betrayed. Over the next few days, strange things kept happening. I received anonymous emails warning me to step off our turf and remember who you married. One email even threatened, "The key is more than a tool, it's a symbol." I shared them with Alex, hoping he would explain. Instead, he just looked troubled and said, "I'll handle it." But how could he handle what he had secretly agreed to? I began to piece together that Alex's family had been more controlling than I had ever suspected. They had a vested interest in the house, maybe not just as a home, but as part of a larger scheme to control a local business empire that had been in the family for generations. The envelope labeled Plan B mentioned the house's hidden basement storage, known only to a few family members. Rumor had it that secret documents and valuable items related to an old property deal were hidden there. That night, the tension spiked further. As I sat in the living room, trying to clear my thoughts, a soft knock came at the door. I looked through the peephole and saw the same unfamiliar face from the camera. I didn't open the door. Instead, I slid it open just a crack. The visitor held out a thick envelope with "For Jenna" written on it in a shaky hand. Inside was a handwritten note that sent chills down my spine. "I know what you don't. The legacy you rely on is built on secrets. Find the truth in the basement, or you lose everything." My heart raced. Was this a warning or a desperate call for help? The note suggested that the basement held the key to all of this. I decided that if I was going to face this, I needed answers. As I grappled with these revelations, I began to notice that even close friends and neighbors acted strangely around us. There were hushed whispers whenever we passed someone on the street, and an old friend whom I thought I knew visited with a look of concern and a warning, "Be careful, Jenna. Not everyone is what they seem in this town." I couldn't tell if this was fear of our new family drama or something more sinister. It felt like someone was playing a dangerous game, and we were all pawns. By now, the house, once our sanctuary, felt like a trap. I made a plan to inspect the basement that Alex's envelope mentioned. Even though Alex insisted he knew nothing more, I sensed he was hiding crucial details. My mind spun with questions. What exactly is in that basement? Which part of our life was so important that Alex allowed his family to infiltrate our home? And who was that mysterious visitor with the unique ring? I grabbed a flashlight and a set of keys, ready to confront the secrets hidden beneath our feet. My heart pounded as I crept down the creaky wooden stairs. The basement was dark and smelled of dust and old memories. Every step I took echoed, and I felt as if eyes were watching me from the shadows. In one locked corner, I found a heavy metal cabinet. Inside were files, bank statements, and even an old map of the neighborhood with several locations circled. One location, marked with the same family crest from the ring, made my pulse quicken. It seemed to be a point on a map near an abandoned warehouse on the outskirts of the city. As I held the map in my shaking hands, I wondered, was this the secret behind the legacy Alex mentioned? And what did it have to do with our home? When I finally went back upstairs, I realized that this was not just a random act of meddling. This was a well-planned and executed scheme. Alex's family, with their subtle signs of control. From the redecorated living room to the spare key ritual, were safeguarding something much bigger than I had imagined. Their actions, their messages, and even the strange person on camera were all pieces of a puzzle that I needed to solve. I knew one thing for sure. I couldn't trust anyone blindly, not even Alex. And if I wanted to protect our home and our future, I had to uncover the truth behind all these secrets, no matter how dangerous it might be. I spent the next few days piecing it all together. That map from the basement wasn't just some old family heirloom. It was a guide, a blueprint of land deals, property swaps, and some very shady money trails. Turns out, Alex's family had been sitting on a chunk of prime land in Portland for years. Some of it was hidden under false names, and a lot of the paperwork had somehow ended up in our basement. Documents worth millions, maybe more. That warehouse circled on the map? It used to belong to Alex's grandfather. And now someone Maybe Alex, maybe his family, was trying to shift ownership quietly before the city's next big development boom. I'll admit something here. I should have seen this coming. When we got the house, Alex pushed hard to keep it in his name. Just to make things easier, he said. I was busy planning the wedding and let it slide. That was my mistake. I trusted too easily. And now I had to fix it. I didn't tell Alex what I found. Not yet. Instead, I made copies of everything. The map, the files, even that strange note from the man with the ring. I met with a lawyer, one who specialized in land disputes and property fraud. I didn't say much, just handed him the papers. His eyes got wide. This is big, he said. You sure you want to go through with this? Absolutely, I told him. I want to burn it all down. That night, I acted like everything was fine. We had dinner. We watched some old Netflix rerun. I kissed Alex on the cheek before bed like always. But inside, I was on fire. The next morning, I confronted him. I know everything, I said. The house, the basement, the warehouse, the fake names, the missing key. I know what you've been hiding. He froze. You don't understand, he started. No, I snapped. You don't understand. You brought me into this mess. You let your family spy on me. You let them treat our marriage like a business deal. He looked like he wanted to fight back, but he knew he couldn't. They were going to cut me out, he said quietly. My parents. They said if I didn't get those documents, if I didn't keep you distracted, they'd ruin me. I laughed. Bitter. So you sold me out to keep your piece of the pie? He didn't answer. I gave him a choice. You come clean. You give up your claim on the house, or I go public. I'll take this to court, to the press, to anyone who'll listen. He looked like he'd been punched. You wouldn't. I already did. His mouth opened, then closed. No words. That afternoon, the documents were filed. My name was added to the house. His was removed. Our accounts were separated. The files were turned over to the city's property board. By the end of the week, the city had launched an investigation into the warehouse deals. Alex's family lost their hold on the land. Their legacy went up in smoke. Years of quiet greed, buried in basements and family secrets, dragged into the light. As for Alex, he left, packed a bag, and walked out without another word. I heard from a friend that he's staying with his parents, who are blaming me for everything. Let them. They wanted a legacy. I gave them a legend. They took over my living room. I took their empire. I made mistakes too. Trusted too fast. Looked the other way too often. But I learned. Now, the portrait above the fireplace? It's gone. In its place is a mirror. So I never forget the face of the person who took it all back. Me.